Hi, it's Eric here. It's talking with famous people, and we're looking at this Quirk code by Megabro. And I was at first looking at these tables, and they're not exactly how he originally wanted them to look, I'm sure, because I use OpenOffice and they've been translated from DocX. But what we're looking at here is alpha. Okay, so this is alpha type, and he's trying to accumulate here all the different Quirk stacks. So Quirk stacks are combinations of functions operating in conjunction with each other to do a certain type of behavior that is manifest by a given quadrant. So basically, you've got the final destination here, then, Megabro, would be you will have parsed out every single type of intentionality, basically, that humans do, and determined which quadra is responsible for which sets of intentionality.
Well, yeah, of course, people can use thoughts that aren't in their quadra. It's just hard to do.
Okay, but look, you're gonna have quadras that overlap, right? So you're gonna have different people in different quadras who can use these Quirk codes, but you're gonna have people in some quadras who don't, or functionally never do, right?
Well, yeah, like I never actually think about like policy. Like in one day, you think about policy more than I do in my life.
Hmm.
But yeah.
One thing I would say is, oh, go ahead.
But yeah, before you get to these stack ones, you probably want to see the mandala. That's the only word I can describe it. The mandala, it doesn't have them as stacks. It just has the table 10. That's what it is. It goes
Here
to
it
the
is.
pure.
I see it.
It doesn't have.
I got it. Table 10. Unified alpha quadra with once cell per Quirk code. I mean one
Oh,
cell.
I misspelled. That should say 1.
Okay.
So the upper right here would be like the ones that start with NE would be like for the NE dominant ENTP.
I see. So you're trying to describe what constitutes the hidden agenda?
I'm just making a note of that. It's just a special there. The other cells don't say something like that. It's just I just thought the hidden agenda was important.
I see. Brainstorming transcontextualized idea.
Yeah, I need to work on the names after I practice all the codes, so I know firsthand instead of just guessing.
See, I would totally do it backwards. I'd do it the other way around for sure. I'd say, okay, well, I need to come up with good names for all these things, so I know the set of named kinds of intentionalities, and then, you have to have a chart to remember the actual code. I think that's how most people would be more like that, right?
Yeah,
But you're building it, so
is,
of course it's a little different.
the thing is, each code can manifest in different ways, so a name can never really satisfy all the ways it manifests. Like, you could manifest any TI. You could do like positive TI, where you're like trying to see what these any ideas are that can be used logically. Or like negative TI would be like trying to kill the ones that are bad.
Okay, but see, I think then look, that's where we need to combine our two things then, because at this point you got to say, well, what's the argumentation vector? And you go, and what's the argumentation vector and what's the framework? So you say, oh, well, the framework's whatever it is, and in that framework, these argumentation vectors interact in the following way. So it's like I have to pick up where you leave off there, basically.
But yeah, if even so, uh, even so, the point of the Quirk code is that someone can build up an idea of how to think, how to make a decision using different functions. It's so it starts off really basic. It's like the simplest possible way of thinking in all these of actually making a decision in all these functions. So,
but I mean, what you're doing here is taxonomying all of human intentionality. But you're positioning it as here's some tricks you can use. Why would you choose to position it as that?
mm,
I mean, it's great. What I think you can do with this eventually is say, and I think the names are very important. I think the names are much more specific than you think they are. You say, well, a name can't be utilized to account for all the different ways a given combination of functions can express itself. But I think it can. That's the difference between vectors and warrants, right? You have to talk about kinds of behavior that are at that level of description. So I think it's important that we do that, because then you can really get a sense of, oh, well, I understand what this individual over here is doing. They're engaging in their quadra function of x using the combined, the spell that you get, the jutsu. Basically, they're jutsus, you know? They're using the jutsu of these functions in combination with one another to engage in this type of intentionality, namely the name of it, for the purpose of fulfilling this role in society. And then you can point out things like, however, that role in society is misapplied in this frame of reference, and that's why we should ignore that person. See?
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I guess you can do that. I just don't really think about it in policy ways. I think about it more of as like self-improvement. Like, I want to learn how to do all this stuff.
Yeah, well, there's that too. That's good too. I like that too. That's fun. I want to cast all these spells as well. These are basically little spells you can cast. I'm going to support communities.
Yeah, the Quirk code is actually a very short procedure. You see, it's like
comparing habitualness of reasons.
Yeah, I need to work on the names. It's like TI decided by SI. It's like I have these logical frameworks. I choose the one that I am most comfortable with already, or it fits with my habit or something.
Which one's more familiar between familiar things? Yeah. See, okay, another angle towards this whole thing. It's really got my mind. It's just like exploding with thoughts right now. It's just I can't even contain them all. But what really comes to mind here is this idea that you could go the other direction as well, of saying, all right, what are all the different kind of things that you parse out? Well, you parse out familiarity on what planes? Well, you parse out familiarity of external experience, familiarity of this, and you sort of backwards engineer it that way too. You know, it's interesting.
But you notice like Alpha Quadra, all the Quirk code produces an output. You see the arrow? It's like,
yeah.
Like FE, NE. It's like I have two ways of I could present myself. Which one would be like an improvement? And then I choose that one as the output. And so it produces one of those FE choices as an output. But the thing is, like, on Alpha Quadra, all the outputs are going to be FE, NE, SI, and TI. So those ones are the only ones that stick. They're influential. It's like you can momentarily use FI, but you're not going to output it.
Right. I don't even know what that would mean, but to output FI. But I think I had another idea here, which is, it seems to me that there should be an indication of an implied. I think there should be an indication that FE, FE, NE plays out within a frame. Because it matters what I think the dominant function is going to be. Is not represented directly here, but that all of those sort of things express within the dominant function. So it seems to me that FE, FE, NE plays out differently for an ISFJ than it does for an ENTP. Or am I wrong about that?
For one thing, you wouldn't actually use it as much or as well. The ENTP would probably use NE, NE, FE more than FE, FE, NE.
Right. Okay. So.
But the ENTP is going to do the upper right section of this table more than any of the other parts, but it's all still within the same quadra, and so it's like that section of this quadra is most likely for the ENTP to use frequently.
Okay, I got you. So look, everybody in the quadra is a water ninja. These are all moves that all the water ninjas can use, but some of them are waterfall ninjas, and some of them are ocean ninjas, and some of them are river ninjas, and some of the lake ninjas, and each of those subsets of these water ninjas use certain special kinds of the water spells better than the other kind of ninjas. So I get you. It makes sense now. That makes sense. And the reason is, of course, because of what frame of reference they have their dominant function. That doesn't need to be indicated in the code for it to be subsumed by the code. So, yeah, I don't have any objection or anything. I thought for a second I was thinking that you really needed to show that it's landing within the frame of reference of the dominant function, but you don't. I agree, and that's what the quad is there for. And you're right.
But if you actually want to think about like how it plays out in a person, you could, if you really wanted to think of this as like a person thing instead of like a thought thing, because I'm still thinking of this as like ways of thinking rather than people. So if you want to get more personal, then the stacks are down below. But I actually care about the codes themselves more.
So is theorizing, comparing, supporting, are these categories of Quirk code, or are they specific Quirk code descriptions?
There's two rows there go together. It's I just have the code and then I have a guess of the name for it. But it's.
I think this is too broad of a name, and this is too broad, and this is too broad. Theorizing, comparing, and supporting.
Yeah, I need to. So those names are really good. But this is.
Okay, well, look, this is really interesting. I'm glad we talked about it a little bit here. I'll be thinking about it more. I can guarantee you that. I wouldn't be surprised if other people in the room here will be thinking about it more as well. Let's draw this video to a close and talk and move on with some other subjects, but we will come back to this again, Megabro, when I have a chance to look at it more carefully, think about it. I want to start playing around with my own table. I want to make a table now. See, you're making a cool table, makes me want to make a cool table too. So, Lacey, will you stop doing that? Yeah. She wants to sit under my chair, and then but I'm always rolling my chair back and forth. So then I pick her up and I move her further away from me, and she comes back and goes back under my chair again. And I'm tired of having to look under my chair every time I roll my chair around. And every time I do, there she is again. I'm like, will you fucking move? I don't want to run her over. Anyway, that's enough for this video. Thank you for watching Huggins Pens, people. That was good, interesting document, Megabro. That's fucking... You're winning a document party. You brought the coolest casserole to the document potluck.